The 2024 release supernatural horror thriller film that is The Terror. The film begins with a group of friends. They are the college friends actually. So they are traveling to a very secluded vacation rental home, and they are just having kind of fun and chit chatting with each others when they are sitting in that vacation rental home. And there are a bunch of actors and playing very really nice characters in this movie, and the character names generally are as follows, that is Haley, played by Harriet Slater. Then there is Elise, then there is Lucas, Paxton, and Grant. These are all college friends, and each character really brings the unique dynamics to the group and really add the emotional depth that is needed in this film. They really add this in. And here we talk about the Haley. She is the rational leader right here. That is what she is. Elise is the one of the skeptical girl that is present, and more or less she's one of the girls that you ever find in each and every group of around you. And then there is the Lucas. Lucas is the guy that you kind of a goofy character right here, because he's the group clown, kind of a joking guy, just playing joke around. And Paxton, you know that he's our beloved Ned, that that is the best friend of Tom Holland, Spider-Man. And he right here in this film, he really did a very great job, and he's a thinker character right here. And Grant is the kind of the protector guy. You always have a kind of strong guy, and the getaway is just intended to be a break from the pressures of school and life and whatever the day-to-day tasks they are going through. Right in the basement of the rental house, now Haley stumbles upon an old kind of ornate box containing a deck of a tarot cards. That is where the film's name is derived from. And the cards are just intricately designed, kind of very attractive, oldish, and kind of mysterious design it has, and radiating a really eerie aura. Their friend view it as a kind of funny novelty at first sight, because they are just messing up with the cards right there, because they were having fun, laughing as they convince Haley to perform the mock readings for each of them. However, as according to the rules inscribed on that box that is written there, caution against using the cards recklessly or just using it for kind of fun or reading someone else's future isn't the best thing you would ever do. And they just the group of friends, as they were just chit chatting and having kind of fun, so they just ignore the warnings, and Haley just begins the reading. And the first reading really predicts the success for Paxton and the misfortune for Lucas, and that is in the form of the hanged man, better for Elise, that is the high priestess, and the death for Haley herself, that is the death card. You can see the death is written on it. And although the group initially treats this prediction as a kind of joke, because they were just having fun and just take it very easily and not thinking much about it, but strange occurrences just really begins almost immediately after the readings, and the card's predictions start manifesting in a kind of a very cryptic and unsettling way. Elise, associated with the betrayal, as mentioned, experiences a very odd encounter with her boyfriend back home, and Lucas just begins to feel a kind of paranoid, threatened, noticing objects in the house that are shifting inexplicably without explaining something. I mean, they are just moving randomly here and there. The atmosphere really turns sinister when Haley discovers historical records about the house, revealing its previous owner was an astrologer from the 18th century, and the story was written in a way that we, as the audience, see that the astrologer, which was accused of a kind of witchcraft or the demonic spell or the whatever he is doing with the magic spells and other related things, and losing her daughter to a very violent mob, and that just cursed her tarot deck, so that the card's prediction would always come to true to life. And Haley's read about the curse, so the group realizes they have awakened an ancient evil, so they are in a kind of way they are cursed or trapped in this loop, because every prediction is gonna come true. Lucas was assigned the hanged man card, so he becomes the first victim right here. During an evening walk to just clear his head, Lucas falls into a trap involving a malfunctioning brain. As it dangles precariously, a chilling kind of force seems to guide his fall, and leaving him hanging in the exact manner that is depicted on his card, as the name suggests, the hanged man. And his death leaves the group really shaken and desperate, kind of to understand what's happening around them. And they truly now kind of acknowledge the card's power. And Haley blames just herself for using the curse card, because this is where from it just gets started. And the group debates whether to flee the house or stay and confront the force that seem to just tied back to the deck, or just that is haunting them right there. But Haley convinces the remaining friends to just investigate the card's origin further, to get more detail and to just look in more into the matter to get the things all sorted up. But they discover that the astrologer used the deck to take the revenge on those who just wronged her, and anyone who uses the cards become trapped in a cycle of destiny that aligns with their readings on whatever the destiny is predetermined, because that is gonna come true. And destroying the cards they learn is nearly impossible because they regenerate after any attempt to burn or tear them. So there is no way out from here, right? We see the tension really builds up in this scene. But as Alice's betrayal card begins to manifest, she grows suspicious of the Grant and just suspecting that he is hiding something from her. And meanwhile, Paxton becomes increasingly withdrawn, convinced that his fate is tied to the star card, which he interprets as both hope and kind of isolation for him. Now it's Ellie's time, I think. So because Ellie's high priestess card takes on a very grim reality, and as the group argues where what to do next or what step we should take further, she just storms out of the house in a kind of very frustration and demeaned manner. And a sudden accident involving a falling ladder fatally injures her, and the scene is just framed to show the card's inescapable influence with the ladder's alignment, really mirroring the same as that of the High Priestess card as described earlier. And the remaining group members are now consumed with a kind of fear that they are getting haunted one by one and they are getting killed. In fact, they realize that the curse feeds on belief and that their dread only strengthens the card's power, and they just get weakened because that is generally believed on the belief. So kind of strong belief you should have. The remaining friend begins to turn on each other, and Grant's protective nature is tested as if he tries to keep the group together or not. And but while Paxton insists they leave the house immediately, but Haley is still trying to take responsibility because she is kind of mature leader among them, proposes a very kind of desperate plan where they uses the cards one last time to perform a ritual to confront the curse source directly. And now Haley's growing obsession with the cards creates tension with the Grant, who believes that they should destroy the deck eventually, so the problem will be get sorted, even if it won't work. But Paxton accuses both of them of dooming the group and by keeping the cards around. And now Haley's plan leads to a very kind of unexpected ritual where the cards are used to summon the spirit of the astrologer, because this is all linked to the astrologer. That is the root cause of this problem. The room becomes a vortex of supernatural energy because as the group generally hears whispers, screams, and very kind of chilling prophecies and kind of very paranormal things, the astrologer appears taking on a very shadowy, ghostly form and reveals her anger and grief for her daughter's death, because that is from where this thing is just originated and trying to haunt them. She claims she is not punishing the group but merely fulfilling their fates as the card dictate. And here they particularly Haley learns that the card reflects the inner fears and just kind of unresolved trauma or whatever the difficulty in life that just haunt you more. They get elevated, so her own grief over her mother's death is tied to her death, while Grant's self-sacrificial nature aligns with the full card, symbolizing the kind of blind leap into the danger. And in the very climatic moment, now Haley decides to challenge the astrologer by performing a reading that may break the curse and save them eventually. Now she just flips her own death card but assigns it to astrologer, so that effectively forcing her to face the fate that she is imposed on others. So nicely played by her. I mean, the ritual creates some kind of explosive confrontation with the house shaking, and we can see everything is moving, and the scene was just brilliantly cinematography was really good, and the card bursting into flames as the astrologer's spirit is vanished, and Haley has a vision of her mother, kind of providing very closure and freeing her from the guilt that she is carried. So it is all linked to the inner deeper desires and inner kind of traumas and fear that a one person had or just is having in his one's life. So that is all from where the fears are just kind of taken, and that may lead to the injury or kind of trauma to us. With the curse lifted and the remaining survivors that we see at the end of the movie, that is the Haley, Grant, and Paxton, they are just leaving the house after all these things just happened, and they are just emotionally very very scared but just alive because they they are just right there, all right after the is over, and the destroyed cards leave behind only ashes which the group scatters to ensure that they can never be used again. So the group now sits in car and they just meet with our Ned, that is the Paxton character, just come to life, because I generally thought that in the lift scene where he was dead, I think, because just he was hunted by the spirit, but luckily he just got saved, and now three of them are just sitting in a car and they are just leaving for their home right now, very scared, very threatened, but just giving kind of very positive vibes because they are saved right now. And they were discussing the one thing that just felt with me too was that is it over or is it gonna happen, this is just the end or not. So there are many unanswered questions right there, because the movie just closes with a very ambiguous shot, that is the last shot of a new tarot deck being discovered in another location, so hinting that the curse may not be entirely eradicated. So there are possibilities that if it is not over, so it can continue, but maybe we may see that in the upcoming parts of the film of the tarot, if they are gonna make it, if the Sony picture just gonna make it. The film was really good, and the films I like it, but it's not a typical film, and in somewhere I think the jump scares were good in some way, but not always. And it's a typical horror movie. If you say that, there is nothing out of the box for this movie, and there are very themes of symbolism right there that just were very good about the hellish journey, that just reflect a deeper narrative about confronting personal loss, guilt, and kind of a fear. And the power of belief that the curse, I mean the strength, lies in the character's fear and acceptance of the just the card's power, and that's highlighting the dangers of superstition. And I think the fate versus free will concept just explores kind of very good from this film, because it explores where the destiny is preordained or just influenced by belief, and each character's action just contribute to just fulfilling their prediction and raising just question about self-determination. And this is where all it ends, because it has because the character just overcome their fear and their deepest desire that were just haunting them with the help of cards, because the card uses their belief or the fear to just elevate them and kind of hurt the person who is just the fate on which he's aligned. So this is a kind of interesting thing. So it's a really nice movie. I think it's definitely a one-time watchable film. The film was good, the airy natural atmosphere it created, some of the scenes were really brilliantly shot, and it was made on a mere $8 million budget, so it was good for that, and it really grossed $50 million, I think, around that was the worldwide collection of that movie. So it was really good movie, I think. Character of Haley, which was played by Harriet Slater, just delivers, I think, very one of the strong and commendable performance, just kind of embodying the protagonist torn between kind of guilt, leadership, survival, and whatever the inner desire the character had or the fear they had. And the supporting cast, including the Bradley and our dear Paxton, just add depth to the dynamic of the group. So it was really good, and the remote settings and the Ealing's cinematography just enhance the film eerie mood, and the dark interior, shadowy landscape, and even the makeup on that so-called spirits were great. I mean, not bad, it was great. And flickering candlelight scenes make the environment kind of feel alive and menacing at the same time. So kind of just making the whole goddamn thing very beautiful, and kind of just adding the layer what you would expect from a thriller film. That is what this is. And film was really good, and concept was unique, I may agree that, because you are playing with the cards and deck and whatever that is, it really built the foundation for me. So if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe our channel Cinema Shadows for more such breakdowns. We will meet in next video. Have a nice day. Bye.